Hi everyone, this is JoeMVR and we are back finally for another GRF podcast. And today with me I have Dennis, Focus X2, and Stein, Shinyo. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi, Joe.
Hey
Doing
Dennis.
fine. Nice to be
Hey
back.
Joe,
Hey
all good
Stein.
here as well.
Good. So
Good evening.
yes, nice to be back. We've taken a long break. Partly my fault. It was very busy, and partly it's difficult getting people together across multiple time zones over the holidays and stuff like that. So you guys glad to be back?
We were never gone. We were always here.
I mean,
It
back in this.
felt like yesterday in the podcast, but we've talked daily in the Discord, so feels
Yeah.
like we kept in touch.
Yeah, so I guess what I wanted, what we wanted to do today is to give a roundup of 2022 now that we're 2 weeks into 2023, to give a roundup of all the stuff that's been happening in the GRF Discord and all the different clubs, and to give a preview of what's in store for this year, which I think is going to be some big things. So I think I know Dennis definitely and probably you, Shinya, will maybe want to say a couple of words, and then I will a little bit. I think one of the most important things that's happened, and it's a sad thing, in the last week is the passing of Ken Block, the legend. And so I thought it would be very fitting for us to at least say a few words about that. Dennis, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, what to say? I still can't believe what happened to him. Yeah, I just today when I drove home from work, I was listening to the Dirtfish podcast. They did a little episode on him. I haven't finished listening to it yet. It's short one, 25 minutes. But yeah, I mean, he was one of my favorite rally guys. I mean, for I don't know the last 20 years, and it's just sad when things like that happen. Also, of course, for mainly for his family. And the thing which also is really kind of strange is that I mean he had a snowmobile accident. I mean he died while he was doing winter sports, just like one of the other great drivers of our time, Michael Schumacher,
Yeah,
had his accident when he was skiing.
yeah.
The guys drive through forests or around racetracks for 20 years at, I don't know, 200, 300 kilometers an hour. And after they finish their career, or I mean, Ken Block's career wasn't finished yet, but yeah, things like that happen when they're doing, when they're not racing actually and doing other stuff in their spare time.
Yeah, I guess, with they're used to the extreme versions of those sports that they chose to
Mm,
do, recreationally. Um,
mm.
and it just reminds us of how dangerous anything can be and how, I guess also, how safe modern racing can be too. In
Yeah,
terms of
definitely.
injury and yeah, yeah. Well,
Well,
and
and besides,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, what I wanted to say is, let's not forget, besides Ken Block's driving, what he did for rally sport in general in North America. I mean, he put rallying on the map for a lot of people in the USA or in Canada.
Absolutely, and now maybe I'll say a little bit about that in a few minutes. You almost had a chance to meet him not that long ago, Dennis.
No, I haven't met him.
No, I said you had a chance to.
I had a chance. Sorry, I didn't understand it. Yeah, a couple of years ago when he had his Escort Cosworth, I think it was it the version 2? He did his Cosy World Tour, and one of the stops was in Switzerland in the canton of Valais. And yeah, I knew that he was there, but I didn't get around to go to that place to see him drive his Cosy up and down the mountain. There's a YouTube video of it, by the way, when he's
Oh,
visiting Switzerland.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That was one of the great things about him. I think is just how much stuff he would do. In promotion of the
Oh
sport,
yes, yeah, yeah.
not just racing. Yeah. Shinyo,
And
sorry, go
uh,
ahead.
I don't want to be the only one talking, but let's just imagine that he was running a successful shoe company, and
Yes.
after his after the success with his shoe company, he started rallying or racing at the age of 36.
Yeah.
So yeah, imagine what he could have achieved rallying wise in let's say in the WRC if he would have started at the age of like 18 or 14 or some younger age. It's really mind blowing. And also what he did for the 12 years I think that he was with Ford. He did so much for Ford as a car manufacturer, which I wrote I think in Discord. Ford themselves didn't manage to do that in like 30 years, and he
Yes.
did it with his driving antics and videos.
Yeah,
Really crazy.
absolutely. And Subaru too, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
trying
how
to,
how it started.
right, and there's a really the um the movie about World War II and the last days of Hitler, um Downfall in English, I can't remember what it's called in German.
The
Um
Untergang.
yes, that's right, the
Ah,
Untergang.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a really, it's become a meme when when Hitler is in the bunker, and people keep, dubbing over and putting subtitles to suit the thing. One of the
yeah.
funniest ones was when Ken Block left Subaru to go to Ford, and I'm gonna have to post this. It was just hilarious. It was about Hitler raving like, "What? He's left Subaru? No! Who do we have left now? Pastrana? No! This cannot be!" And it is hilarious. And so I'll post that at some point. But yeah, I got into rally. I think in part because of him, and I'm gonna give Shinyo the opportunity to say something if you wish, buddy.
I think a lot of things have already been said, and not
Yes,
not much to add. Yeah, where I met him is where a lot of people met him for the first time was with the Gymkhanas,
yes,
which as a young kid was just so fantastic. I think I watched Gymkhana 2 like at least 40 or 50 times, of which 30 times in a row. And then where it was featured in the dirt games with all the arcadey stuff and the drifting, etc. It was always him. It was awesome. So yeah, really, really sad to see him go. Really,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
I have his rallycross Gymkhana Fiesta as my desktop wallpaper in the office forever
uh,
now. Yeah.
uh
awesome.
wow. I was into rally as a kid. We used to have a show in Britain called World of Sport, and they would have various snippets of various sports from all over the world. This is Saturday afternoon, and the show was like 5 or 6 hours long, and they would have all sorts of sports on. And one of the things they would do from time to time was rallying. And this was in the days when Nigel Mansell was a rally driver before he went to become one of Schumacher's rivals in Formula One. So it was just as the Group B Audis were the Quattros were coming in, and I used to be into all of that. And then I kind of just lost track of that, lost interest, I think, and life happened. I moved to Canada and I bought a PlayStation, and a PlayStation 3, and one of the things that grabbed my attention was Dirt 3, and of course Ken Block features heavily in that, as does DC Shoes, which I only discovered actually, unfortunately, since Ken's passing, that he was the founder of that company, and so that all makes
Mm.
sense to me now. But yeah, I only got into got into rally again because of uh, Dirt 3 and Ken Block, and then of course the Gymkhana videos and all of that, and then and he was everywhere. The American Rally Association, ARA events, Rallycross he did, WRC, all sorts of stuff. So um, And I think what really clinched it for me was a Top Gear feature, in his Subaru at Dirtfish, I believe it was, where he or somewhere where he was doing all sorts of crazy stunts and gymkhana like stuff. So okay, well anyway, Ken, you're a real inspiration to pretty much all of us, hey? And
No, definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And I usually don't care about the passing of celebrities or things, like obviously um, uh, they don't have much of an impact on my life, and I'm obviously sad that it happened, but there are very few that really get you, you know, get me and make me actually feel like I've lost something. And Ken was definitely one of those. So, all right. Well, I think maybe we should move on to something maybe a bit more upbeat. And um, what I was hoping we could do is a bit of a recap um, of 2022. I mean, GRF, we've been going since, what was it, March, April 2021? Is that right, Dennis?
Correct. It was beginning of March 2021.
Yeah. So this is our first, 2022 was the first full year. And I mean, how would you sum it up? I've got a few things that, that some milestones that we achieved. Is there anything you want to say about that, Dennis?
It was a really, really busy year, it seemed. There was always stuff going on. There was a lot of championships. We had a team championship, new club, the dailies which were invented, the one shot club. There was really a lot of stuff going on. That's, I think,
Yeah. And
how
membership
I
just
would,
continued
yeah,
to
yeah.
increase, right?
It's really cool because it doesn't seem to stop. Even though, the game gets older,
Yeah,
there's a constant stream of people joining Discord and joining our events.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And Shinyo, what do you recall from the
Well,
year?
it was like at the end of the year, and I was like, hmm, it feels a bit longer, but I can't believe I've only been here for like 7 months because I was under the impression that I only joined in like June or July of 2022.
Okay,
But then I looked back in the server stats where you can see when you joined, and apparently I've been here for well over a year and a half. So to sum it up, this year has flown past like no other. It's crazy. So
yeah,
and also joining the admin team in this year, I think.
yeah.
Was it this year? I can't recall anymore.
I
It
don't
was,
even
But
remember.
it was this year.
yeah, somewhere at the beginning of this year, probably.
Yep,
And with all the nice new events we have, the sad going of the time trial channel, but the resurrection in the form of the one shot weekly, which is a whole of lot more awesome in my opinion.
yep.
So, yeah,
Great. Yeah. So I remember Shinyo how I noticed that you were a very fast driver at the beginning. Near the beginning of the club. And then one time I did a false start in a championship, and it was enough to get you to win that event. And I was like, "Damn,
yeah.
this
But
guy!"
in the meantime, we've had like 50 players joining that are
Yes,
a lot faster, which is also very nice to see in the past year. That a lot a lot of people in general have joined, and obviously a big portion of those are super fast guys and also super friendly guys. So it's been
yeah,
fantastic seeing the growth in that direction as well. Seeing the big names showing up here as well from time to time. Not
yeah.
that
We've
we
had so
are eager
many,
to.
so
Yeah,
much.
well,
Yeah. So I mean, I made a list of the things, right, that we had. We had. And stop me if you want to talk about any of these things, but the GRF dailies that Void Robot took on, so a 7 day championship where there's an event every day, and some people just do whatever they can. Oh, this is a combination I like. Others, like me, try to do it every day, and therefore, Toolmaker, myself, Jandar, we get a lot of podiums on that. But now we've got
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
we got people like N Bates and maybe Pookie as well, like two super fast guys who might be doing it every day too. And Bates, I think, has started to do it almost daily, and many others, just do it every day, and it's great. Knife Ninja, Koivu or Van Beesbrook, who's from Quebec. All these guys, we put in the daily grind, and I think that's really, really fun.
Yeah, but the cool thing about this is, like you said, that you don't necessarily need to do them daily because I'm not in with the kids. I am not in a position that I can drive every day,
Yeah.
but I'm very happy to drive like once every few days. Like today, it went better because there was a time trial stage we did a few months ago,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's even as an outsider that only drives once in a while in the dailies, it's still very cool to finish up the leaderboard. So it gives instant gratification. So I really like it for that reason.
Right,
And
right.
it's a nice addition. I really like the official dailies and then the dirty daily and this daily. It's a nice start of the evening.
Yeah.
If I start a rally evening, I always start with the dailies, just cold, just to warm up in different cars. It's awesome.
Yeah, I end up often not doing anything else except for the daily because I become obsessed with trying to get
But
really
yeah, you time trial it first then because I always do the daily call. So
right,
I
right.
think it's the
I do two other dailies cold. I do the Dirty Daily
okay.
Cold now usually, and the Swedish server, the MSRD that Thomas Nordin um, has been running for a while. So so we had the dailies, and then we started doing the one shot weekly, which was based on the um, Dirty Weekly, which was the only event that the Dirty Discord used to do. And now they've got monthly events and other things as well. So that was something that we've introduced, which you said instead of the time trial, it you have unlimited practice, and then you have to do the one shot, and you have only one attempt to do obviously the actual stage. It's a single stage every week, and we have an ongoing leaderboard with the top 10 getting to choose 10 of the 12 stages the following week, with two
Following
spots.
season. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and two going to the community to choose by voting what they want to see next in the next season. So that's taken off, and I think we're getting more and more people doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an event I do not go cold in because I like it just too much.
yes,
And previous week really kickstarted. I mean, last season we already had like a lot of participants, but the first week of this one had 60 plus participants, even almost 70. And we're on our way, well on our way now again in Finland in Group A. So really nice to see it taken off.
yeah,
And
that's
also with a lot of fast guys. Last season I was easily in the top 10, and here in the first event in my favorite country, which is USA and the rally at least,
yes.
I got pushed out already. So
Wow, yeah, and I think Spraz is back. We'll talk maybe a
yeah,
little
he
bit
is. He
about
is.
him, and I've noticed anytime he's there, you step up your game as well. So I think he inspires you a little bit.
Yeah, but
You've been on
he's
fire.
just crazy. Yeah, but he's crazy. So he's gone for like when he did leave like April last year to go on doing motorbike stuff on track like in real life.
Yeah,
And then he came back 2 weeks ago and he's immediately clicked on point. And then we do the time trial together. I've been practicing for an hour and a half or something. He jumps in, does two runs, and is immediately top 10 of the world. He's got a special talent and he's a really nice guy as well.
yeah,
So
I
I'm
noticed.
happy to have him back.
Definitely, definitely, it's great to have him back, and I see that you've improved suddenly recently as well. And I did notice how when he did we'll talk about the special events in a second, but he took the wrong car to start with, and he wasn't that fast, in the fastest car. And then a day later, he's already back in the top 10. It didn't take
Yeah.
him long at all to get re
No, he was. But like
reacclimatized.
I said, like you have with Gutti or with Fish next,
Yes.
it's nice to have someone that you can talk to, that can chill with, and they can race with. I mean, it's a very nice community, but it's something else to do it in your own language with people you know from in real life. I mean, it adds an extra dimension.
Yeah,
We have got a
absolutely.
few these combos on the server, and it's really nice to see the dynamics there as well between those different people. So
Yeah. Dennis, I know you've been quiet because you don't have much time to do these high frequency events, right?
You know what the funny thing is? The last one shot weekly, which the R2 New England one,
Yes.
I practiced all of the cars,
Yes.
and at
Wow.
the end, I didn't have time to do the final run.
Oh, oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I tried all the cars. Then I decided I would stick with the Fiesta, and I did a decent time for my standards.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I think in 2 days in the evening, I don't know what weekday it was, I will have time, and then I'll do my final run. And at the end, yeah, with wife working, kid, this and that, I just simply didn't have time to do it. And as for the as for the daily, yeah, I mean, if I really have an evening where I know, oh, I can put like 2 or 3 hours into the game, then I usually do the daily first with 1 or 2 practice runs,
Okay.
or once in a while ice cold. I like it. It's just yeah, you know how stuff works with me, and also now with the WRC club,
Yeah.
it just time is
yeah,
limited. So
what I
uh,
wondered, Dennis, you played 2 games now. Obviously, how do you choose? I mean,
I
do
play a
you
ton of
sometimes
games.
feel more? Yeah, but if you want to do a rally game, which one carries your preference, or how you say it?
I really like both of them. Of course, I have to admit Dirt Rally is like number one game still, but I really also like the WRC games. But I think that has also to do because I really love like real life rallying, and in WRC I get to drive the real life machinery. So that's something that pulls me towards the game. Also the awesome stages. But usually I when I have to decide which one to play, I just play the game that I like. I know, okay, I can do the club in like 30, 35 minutes, or I have to finish this club or that. Yeah, I decide based on that. What I try not to do is to like play both games in the same evening. That's just driving wise, it's not a very smart move.
Okay.
But once in a while, I even play Sebastian Loeb Rally Evo, which is like six
Wow.
years
Okay.
old. Still
Wow.
enjoy it.
Okay.
All right, nice.
Good. Yeah, I was going to talk. I was going to get Dennis to talk a bit about WRC Generations a little bit later. But I'm glad that we managed to get some of that in now. Um, and what else I think we started to do. We had obviously many championships, regular championships in 2022. And I think Dennis, you've been. I did a few, and you've been making a few, and maybe a couple of others had been organizing some of those events and championships. Um, I've noticed a little trend recently, Dennis, and I don't know if this is something intentional, but the regular championship seems to be getting a little bit longer and a little bit more difficult recently, and it almost feels like the special events.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, with all the rain and the
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
nine stages per event and stuff. Is this something we're
Yeah,
likely to see more
we
of?
had some complaints, Dennis. We had a mailbox full of complaints about those.
Yes. And I deleted all the mails in the order I received them. No, no. That I did the Christmas championship was longer because I wanted it to last into the new year,
I
so
see.
people don't have to. So we don't have to set up a new one right around Christmas. So I just made it longer so that it goes into the new year. And since you don't have a lot of snow stages or snow rallies or winter rallies in Dirt Rally 2.0, so I just decided to put a lot of rain in it so that it simulates kind of what winter could be in, let's say, New England.
The only thing I'm reading
And
here is that you make people suffer around Christmas. That's all.
yeah, okay. But I didn't real the I only realized that I think it was Wales. Wales had, I think, all rain stages and a lot of night stages. That was a really tough one.
Right, and Scotland was all rain except for the very last stage.
Yeah,
Heavy
that was a
rain
really
as
tough
well.
one. But yeah,
Yeah, it
let's
was.
try something new.
Yeah, that's great. So the regular championship is the one that is open to everyone. It's the one that we started the club with, as
Mhm.
opposed to the special events, which tend to be more hardcore or and themed, with maybe cars, from certain with car restrictions, and it's the one where you're supposed to go in quite cold with no practice as well, and that really, I think a lot of people are into that too, because a lot of people do championships cold these days, like N Bates. He does one shakedown and then just does his runs, and he's still superb at everything. And you can tell I've been a fanboy of his for a while. But and I said to him, this is this championship for you because everyone will be on equal footing here because nobody else will practice this as well. And I think that's really taken off. We've introduced in the special events tiers as well. So tiers as in TIERS, different levels. We have three levels: pro am, and am. And you get different car choices depending on how the event has been organized, and you compete within the tier as well as overall as well. And we've had power stages introduced um, into the special events where you can get additional points for the last stage, and all of this has been made possible by Busato, who we had on the show a couple of episodes ago, who's created these bots to do all the customized scoring for us. That was, I think, a huge innovation for not just our club but many clubs, because his bots, for left, does that for many clubs now. Do you guys want to say anything about the special events and Busata and all of that?
Yeah, you said we introduced tiers, the TIERS,
Yep.
because we did not introduce tiers, TEARS, because they
Yes.
were already there
Already
from
there
the
in the
start.
special events, yeah. There are
And what
many.
I think with the tiers and with the addition with the car restrictions being tier specific,
Yep.
it's a really nice dynamic. I thought it would be nice and something new to 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 try like for a few weeks and then back to all the same cars.
Yep.
But now I really like it. I really look forward to driving within my tier against the people with the same car. I really love it.
The cool thing is with the tier system, you can kind of pick your enemy or your nemesis. I mean, every time I start in GRF3, I know I have to keep Jay Booger behind me, and I have to try and beat the Swedish guy Hiller Strumpa. I have to try to beat him because he seems to be the closest to my times, which makes it really cool. It's just different than when you do a big club event and then you end up on like place 50 or 50th or 60th like I do. It's
Right.
Yeah, but
like Shinyo
last time
said,
you
it
took a
just
podium. You took a podium last time,
yeah
Dennis.
in the tier one, yeah, but I think that was because the other guys
No, no.
crashed.
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
it's called a rally crashing. So
yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
you didn't
No,
crash.
the cool thing is also in the special event, I think it's more about like rally management and safe driving,
Yep.
so that there's a high possibility that other people in front of you will crash out and you will finish just because you were driving safer, I think, which suits my style of driving more.
Yeah, and just
And yeah,
to
I had the podium first one.
well done, Dennis. That was we were
Yeah.
all rooting for you. That was
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah, the personal highlight of the year. No, no, honestly, I was really proud of myself.
Yeah.
I even bragged about it to my wife. I mean, she didn't really care, but yeah, it was really cool.
You know, Justin Trudeau, he declared January 1st a national holiday because of that.
Ah, that's cool. Thanks, Justin.
So
Send me some maple syrup.
yeah, we should do that. Um, so yeah, all of this stuff is really cool in the special events, and what we've had, this current one that we're in the middle of now, we're in event two. You're talking about tears, as in the ones that we cry. We're already getting some of those in the Discord because the current event and the next two are going to be brutal. So the current event is in Poland with high degradation, and almost every single one, if not all of them, is wet. And so we're
Right
in,
hand drive. Oh,
yeah, right hand drive for the Pro Am and Am guys. Um, in the much faster car than the Subaru, which the pro guys get, which I'm always trying to encourage some overlap in the absolute time so that, the tier 2 and 3 guys get the faster cars. But it's also good that a lot of people have said that they're forced to take a car they never would, or to do right-hand drive, and then they get used to it, and they like it, and they enjoy it overall afterwards. But that's going to be brutal. The next event in Scotland, I think, has 4 or 5 long stages in a row without a break. And then Greece is 8 long stages with no service, and then a power stage, a short power stage with service. So that's
uh,
going to be really, as Dennis said, it's going to be about managing your tires. And I I expect even people who DNF to do well, as long as they DNF late enough in the race. So
oh,
that's
with the Cossi in Greece, I was wondering what car we had to make survive for 8 long stages, but for GRF2, it's the Escort Cosworth, so
oh
which has an extra gear to throw away along the way. So,
yeah, yeah.
Fast and Furious gearbox.
Right. Yeah. So we also, I think that kind of rounds up the clubs, except for, of course, well, we'll come on to that in the 2023 thing, but we also expanded the admin team. You, Void, some others took a back seat. Solidus is now a daddy, and congratulations to him as well. Um, SOB Cygnus, we don't see that often anymore, but he's very much still part of the club. Who else did we add to the admin team? James McAdam.
He's the main poster guy.
Yep,
So it's good to have him on the admin team.
yep. So we've expanded that. We have. I always get notifications when people come on board. I usually let Shinyo or Void handle those guys, but it's always good to see some familiar faces come in from time to time as well, familiar names. Um, and the other big thing that we did was the JRC performances in our team last year. So we entered teams for 2 seasons of JRC. Dennis, you want to say anything about the performances there?
I think Shinyo would be
Yeah,
uh, the guy to say something about JRC performances as he was
he was
he
part
is
of
the
the
team
team.
leader.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, performance-wise, I think the first season we did slightly better with one team
Hmm.
than the second season, but dedication-wise, the second season really took the cake. We had our own the GRF Racing Team channel in our GRF community on the Discord,
Yep.
and it was, I mean, irrespective of all the results, it was alive and it was really on fire. It was that's the thing I was doing it for really. To have that community feedback, that community interaction with the two teams. I was a bit afraid that the two teams would start fighting or start like being a bit toxic towards each other, but nothing like that happened. I think
No.
we did build a great community around it. We also tried to be as fair as possible in dividing the teams at the start. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that worked out well. I think the GRF one, which you were part of, or that called the one, but the one left, which
Yes.
you were part of, Joe, you got a podium. And the Flans, like we call ourselves, the GRF two team, we just fell just outside the podium, but still had an awesome experience.
Right. I mean, to be
We'll
honest,
have to see how we'll manage with the next season because many people got promoted,
right.
so
Right.
we'll have to do some shifting, but we'll figure that out once we're there.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I only saw GRF names on the on the roster, and I was just rooting for all of them. I Even after the final results came out, I had to ask um, Anastasia, which team I was on. I didn't know, right, that I was in GRF one until the very last day, or keep forgetting. All I knew was that GRF guys we were all doing well, and I was rooting for all of them. So I don't think, at least from here, there was any kind of inter-team rivalry at all. I just saw it as club representation. Yeah, it was fun. I um, I do prefer maybe GRF clubs personally more, just because I felt extra pressure, with time constraints and so on. Which um, reminds me, we did also in 2022 do a team event, um, and in the special events, and I hope to be introducing a couple more. I have some ideas in mind, especially in the summer, and maybe maybe sooner as well, to try, now that we have tiers, maybe a team event with one driver from each tier in a team.
Yes, we should
Um,
do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I've already started thinking about all of that, and formulating something tentative, which you guys can tell me how bad an
Mm.
idea it is when I reveal it, and we can improve the blueprint a little bit. Um,
I
yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing like a couple of days ago that it's really about time to start another team event again.
yeah,
Because last one I was driving with Ed Rosa, or I had the honor to drive with Ed Rosa, was really cool.
yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something I would like to do. I might start with, when we have 2 weeks to go, to start getting 2 weeks to go in the current championship. Then maybe we'll start getting people organized for a team championship
Mm,
soon. Either the next one or the one after that, in the
yeah.
special events. So we'll do
And,
that.
or we can do a short Citroen DS special in between.
Yeah,
That I want as well.
yeah, that would be great. I think H1. Most people don't like it, and then they try it and they think, "Hey, it wasn't so bad,"
Yeah.
But the DS is just kind of a fun, almost comical car. I think people are going to have a lot of fun doing that, so we might do something like that.
If you ever
Um,
want to drive a boat through Argentina,
yeah, exactly. For me personally, one of the things that I loved about 2022 was following the progress people made in their driving, and how much a lot of people improved. And you know I'm not just talking about like the at the top, but at the top, people like Jandar, Odaro, and Void, Knife Ninja, Saku, Samsajax,
and
Borisito,
Zephyr also stepping up his game big
Zephyr.
time. We were talking about the team
Yes,
events just now.
yeah,
I was the pro driver. Let's say in the previous team together with Zephyr as the amateur. I
yes,
think he's pretty much ahead of me right now in his driving, rear wheel and forward wheel driving. He's a superhero. Like the one shot weekly from last time, he was second in the forward wheel drive. So also massive improvements from him.
yeah. That is
Let's not forget Knife Ninja.
Yeah,
yes,
of course,
yeah. I
of
oh,
Uh,
I
course.
thought I
Yeah,
thought I
he
said
was already fast, but he's gone. Yeah,
yeah, but
alien-like
yeah,
lately.
now he's super fast.
he is.
He's on top of the board in so many events now. Really
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. He was really, really fast, and he's beating me regularly, beating um, even Speed Sensei and Tristan in many things too. So it's really cool. But but not just these guys who are near the top. I'm talking about like Samsa Jax, uh, and Samsa Jackson. Um, the people who are in
You
JRC
mentioned
4.
Borisito and Uncle
Yeah,
Phil is also top
yeah,
of his game.
both
Silent
fair.
Killer.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a whole bunch. Nastasia, and we've got some really good people. good participants in the clubs now, that I think are going to be improving a lot, or just and a lot of these guys just love to just drive in the game, and if they're in the bottom third, they don't care. As Dennis said, they've got their own little rivalries and things going, and it's all in good spirits. So yeah, I'm really happy
Yeah,
to
that's
see that.
really the cool thing to see. Like you said, not only the progress some people made, because for myself, I pretty much stagnated last year, and there's a few people that like me or even get slower, but still they keep coming back, and they're still there, and that's a fun thing. You see the familiar faces, and of course, new people join, but the same base, the broad base, still stays there as well, and that's fantastic seeing this grow.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. So, um, let's talk about what's coming up this year. I think the big news really is our, well, for me, I think, is the partnership with Paul, or Mexico, in the Expert Historic. And we've already started the 1979 World Rally Championship season with partnership with Expert Historic Rally Club, and that's an H3 rear wheel drive championship. So people are driving the Renault 5s, the BMWs, and the Stratuses in Monte Carlo. Um, do you guys have any comments about that before I keep going on and on about it?
Yeah, I think we should get Mexico on one of the podcasts to give us like the expert historic vision on the expert historic event. I think that would be awesome
We
as a
should have an
feature.
expert historic podcast, an episode
Yeah,
dedicated
Yes.
to
yeah,
expert historic.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to get that for a long time, actually. It's just he's 3 hours behind me, so then we have a 9 hour span in time zones between us, and it's been difficult to get that happening. So what I might do at some point is, if we can't get everyone together soon, maybe I'll just do a kind of a chat with him, and then get together with you guys and we can discuss that in one episode, kind of thing. Even if we can't get everyone together on the same thing, but we'll definitely need to get him on there soon. And I think he's keen to do that. And I've spoken to him on the phone, and he can talk for an hour and uh, you know, just the kind of transmission the cars had in 1979. So it'll be really fun to do an episode with him. Yeah.
You need to do an episode with him and me only talking about real life rally stuff. I think that would be fun.
Well, maybe Dennis, we could arrange something like that. Maybe you two could arrange something, and then Shinyo and I will be the ones commenting afterwards.
Mhm. This will be a 4 hour podcast, I think.
We can just have a spin-off one. Okay, so then the Expert Historic, yeah, it started. It runs. The first event runs till Monday next week. It's Monte Carlo. Um, I am really, really excited about this because I've done some practicing for it, and um, there's a chance I could win it. Which is a horrible thing to say live on the podcast because I'm probably going to crash in the first stage now. But I'm really excited because I love the Stratos and the mid or rear engined rear wheel drive cars. So I can't wait to participate in this. But it's really um, it's quite a privilege to be working with Paul because with my other podcast, my first two guests were Ed Rosa and Typecast Wookie, and they both mentioned the club, and I'd been meaning to do something with him for ages with Paul in Mexico, and now we have that opportunity, and it's great because two clubs helping each other. Ed Rosa said on Facebook how he was so delighted that his two favorite clubs were working together. So I think this is going to be cool. We're running a pilot season this with 1979, but I think the way it's looking already, I think we'll probably be working very closely together in the future as well, if not merging completely. So yeah, very, very excited about that, if you cannot tell already.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
And by the way,
yeah,
did you guys see who crashed in the first one in Monte Carlo?
no?
Tristan.
No.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he
really?
He
did.
never cra Yeah, he never crashes. I just saw it. He's
Oh,
26th. He crashed. So
yeah.
Joe, good luck, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously practice is something completely different from the real event because nerves really take over. But um, if I have a spin or two, my pace is good enough, I think, that I can still do well. But um, but if you have a more serious crash or a flat tire, then I'm done. So, um, but yeah, we've got at the top of that already. We've got Rally Refinery, and Koivu or Van Biesbroek is in second place.
Mm.
And he was always pretty fast, but now he's really, really up the upper echelons because he was beating Rally Refinery for a long time. And Rally Refinery is someone I've always found is just out of reach for me. And so to be within a few seconds of him in the final and leading him for most of the rally was a great performance by Saku, I think, by Van Biesbroek. And then we
Mm.
have Pookie, who's one of the fastest drivers in the world. He's currently in third. Pookie is really special. He's one of the people up there with Jonathan Schaefer, and I'm so glad that he's joining us here. And already we have 37 people with 4 days still to go, or 3 days, 3 or 4 days still to go. So that's pretty good. Um, Oh, actually, that just reminds me. I'll just quickly add that what we're trying to do across our clubs is to synchronize the start and stop times. So we have now what's called GRF Tuesday, where at noon Central European time on a Tuesday, that's when our clubs start and stop. And so far, we have the one shot weekly starting and stopping at that time. We have the regular championship and the special events all starting and stopping on GRF Tuesday, noon, Central European time. Maybe we will shift some of the other clubs as well. So far, the Expert Historic is the day before. I think that's a good thing, don't you? That we have um, our set time that people can just learn and not get confused about how much time they have.
And talking, yeah, Tuesday is perfect as well, just like an extra day after the weekend. But talking about that, Dennis, do you have anything in the pipeline yet for the new regular championship? Because the
Yes,
previous one was pretty popular, so it would be nice to serve a bit.
yes, I'll announce it maybe tomorrow or maybe on Monday. Um, I think it will also be very popular, like just like the last one did. We'll
Okay,
keep
awesome.
that
Looking
momentum, and
forward
then
to it.
yeah,
Right, right. Well, I'm just looking at some of the results that we've just had. Um, yeah, and we've got the recent championship finished as you were just talking about. We've had a couple of weeks. Well, we've had 1 week of the current special events, and that was so. Hang on, let me find that because we haven't actually done a results rundown for a while. Because we haven't done the podcast for a while, but we have had in the Catamarca province in Argentina last week in the special events, Knife Ninja won that one. And he was followed by Nbate66. And then Dennis Henneholt, or CA Dennis Henneholt 30, was third. And the top four people were split by, well, the top five. Speed Sensei was fifth, and GZRG, who is also super fast. They were all split by under 9 seconds, the first six people, five or six people. So that was pretty good. I finished seventh there when I was pretty much leading or was about to. I fell off a cliff, so that's the nature of the special events. And that's where Spraz took the wrong car.
Yep, indeed.
And that's something that we also introduced in 2022 was the golden pineapple for anyone. It's like a booby prize or a consolation prize for anyone who takes the wrong car. And even I, the person who um, organizes the events, took the wrong car once when my head was not in the game. And I did one sector of the event and then I realized and I just swore and deliberately crashed my car as I realized I'd taken the wrong car. So
Yeah, you drove into the river, I think.
yes.
I remember that video.
Yeah, I was hoping to get terminal damage, and I didn't.
Yeah, which never happens when you need an intentional terminal damage.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And what one of the most frustrating things in VR is that if you deliberately drive off a cliff, it cuts you off after about a second, and you never really get the full sensation.
Full
Yeah,
full experience.
yeah, exactly. There are a couple that are pretty good, and I started cataloging them for anyone who wants to have a fun thrill in VR. But there's one in Greece and one at the beginning of a US stage as well, and you actually see landscape that you never normally see because you're you're flying into a valley and you see, oh, I didn't know there was a river down there. So yeah,
That's interesting.
it is fun. So we've got I think another thing I've mentioned this already, I guess, is we're on the second season of the One Shot. That's something that is happening in 2023, and we did the first one, as you mentioned earlier, Shinyo and Dennis. You participated in the R2 New England. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the results there to see how that went. Right, it was won by Extreme Adventure with a crazy time of 252.936. This was Fuller Mountain Descent, one of my favorite stages in New England in R2. Almost everyone took the Fiesta. I think the first non-Fiesta was in 33rd. No, it was in
No,
20th.
it's
20th.
Void.
Yeah,
Void and
Void.
20th.
Void in 20th. Yeah, he took that. And then Zephyr, who you were talking about, he has improved so much, especially tarmac and front wheel drive. 255.481 and Zephyr, and Spraz, yeah, already making this his comeback 255.769. Um, the top nine people were separated. Well, no, let's say, wow, yeah, the spread was not much. It was very
Yeah,
very
well,
tight.
it is extreme adventure with an extreme advantage over everyone else. But
Yeah,
when from Zephyr downwards, it's within 5 seconds we got a top 20. So
yeah, and in fact there are no big jumps. It's almost like a spectrum, right? It's a continuum
hmm
all the way. So until you get to the DNFers or the people who crashed
uh,
and got to, yeah, okay,
I saw on the leaderboards of the time trial that extreme adventure is like top 6 or top 5 on the stage in time trial. So I'm
yeah,
expecting a lot of a big hit again from him in Finland in the
right.
Group A, which is a very interesting stage.
Oh, Finland in Group A is very difficult because of the suspension. You need to get just right. I think I've just managed to get a good suspension from for the Lancia, but I actually think maybe some of the other cars are easier to drive in
Yeah, but
Finland.
this is such a high speed stage, and yeah,
Yeah,
you need to take the risks. And yeah, if you go a bit too safe over a jump, that's already a second you lose. It's really it's tough. So you need to have the balls on the wall and pedal to the metal. And to really
Yeah, to really, so yeah, who
for.
dares
Yeah.
wins. So again, I'm looking at the leaderboard right there. Spraz and you are separated by half a second at the top. So
Yeah, and those times are top 10 on the time trial board for now until
wow.
the fast guys start coming along. So that was,
No,
but
you're fast, guys.
it was Strasbourg in his TT time. He was actually he's top three now, so he's 2 seconds faster than this one. But he had a bit of a mishap going on in the one shot weekly, which is part of the game. Which is part of the game.
Yeah, that's part of the
Yeah.
high stakes and high tensions there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, you know, we've also now we've, as I said, we're continuing to get new people coming in all the time. As Dennis said before, it's like a not really a trickle, but a nice flow, a constant flow. We tend to get people sometimes in bursts as we advertise new events on Facebook, on other Discords, on Reddit. Um, but we still also keep getting this trickle or a flow of people coming in, and it's good to see. Um, and I just wanted to where are we? Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that we're continuing to grow and you know, even when championships are in the middle, we're getting more and more people coming in. And to that end, we will be having a lot more interesting guests in 2023 on the podcast. That's something that I'm going to renew my efforts to make sure that we have not too long a break between podcasts. So, um, one of the prospects that we have not talked about in a while is a new game coming soon from EA Sports and Codemasters. What do you think about that?
Would be nice to have some more information leaking out soon.
Yeah,
We're only getting breadcrumbs here and there, and then still it's like we know it's
Yeah,
gonna happen somewhere this year, but yeah, when exactly, and if it's gonna have VR, that's the most important thing for me actually. If it doesn't have VR, it won't I won't bother for now.
if it doesn't have VR, I think there are so many people who get into Dirt Rally, then want to improve, then they hear about VR, and then they try VR, and then they improve massively. Darrow is one example. And then they say, I'm never going to do another game that doesn't have VR. And this is a pattern I've seen again and again, and it was a pattern for me as well. So I think it would be almost suicidal to have a um, serious rally game, which the Dirt Rally series is supposed to be, and the WRC is supposed to be. I think um, it will piss off a lot of people if it doesn't have VR. I'm pretty confident that. Well, I'm
Yeah,
optimistic.
probably under the
Optimistic.
EA banner. They added it to F1. Nobody asked for it in F1,
Yeah,
so everyone asked for it in Rally. So I'm hoping they.
I think in general, I mean, it's way too early to talk about the new game since we don't know anything.
yeah,
And there have been a couple of rumors on social media lately, which I don't really give a damn about it. I I think the new game, which will obviously be called WRC 23 or 24,
yep,
whatever, I think it will piss off a lot of people, generally, a lot of people. Not because it might not support VR, because I think it will support VR, just because, I mean, it will be an EA game now, and I don't think that a company like EA or a game developer in general will care about the I'll
yeah,
call it hardcore people that are now
yeah,
still playing Dirt Rally 2.0,
yep.
but they will make sure to get new people into the game, to sell their game, to get new people involved in their game. And I think the new WRC game won't be as hardcore as Dirt Rally 2.0.
Yeah, that would be
So
interesting because I think
uh,
they've stopped the Dirt series now.
yeah, it will
So
be something that they will try to drag new people into the game I mean, at the end of the day, they want to sell their products,
yeah,
and they I mean, it's not it won't really be about the hardcore people then, I think. I mean, we can still hope it will have some kind of like dirt forehead that you had the possibility to switch between arcade mode and
Right, and sim
hardcore mode.
mode, right, right.
But when people ask me about Dirt Rally 3.0 or WRC 23, 24, I always tell them don't have your expectations shouldn't be too high. Don't expect another Dirt Rally 3.0. It will. I personally think it will be something in between WRC generations and Dirt Rally 2.0, somewhere in the middle,
Okay, in terms of
which will then obviously
realism.
piss off the hardcore people.
Sure. I mean, I
Yeah,
think whatever happens, I think we will follow all developments and try to be as prepared as possible to
mm,
keep the club going in and evolving with the new game if if it's worthy, and uh, I'm sure we'll come up with a way to make things enjoyable and work for our members. So,
yeah, sure.
so is there anything else you guys want to add? Maybe we should wrap up.
No, not for now. I think we had a nice chat and kickstarting the new year.
Right,
Let's do it soon again. Maybe with some interesting guests would be nice.
right. Any shout
More
outs?
interesting than always Dennis and myself, or always the last few times.
Yeah.
Not that you're not interesting, Dennis, but
No, you
I'm not.
guys,
Yeah.
it's always great to talk to you and you guys. So you always offer very good insights. Um, how about any shout outs to anyone?
I'll let Focus go first, and I'll think
Okay.
about mine.
Yeah, shout out to the whole admin team and everybody else closely involved in GRF. Thanks for 2022, and let's make 2023 also great. And a special shout out, a current shout out goes to Mickey Donald because he gave me his Lancer Evo tune,
Tuning.
which I can try in for the special event.
Okay. Cool. Shinyo?
I'm gonna shout out first to two Belgian guys, which is Pras, and happy to have him back, and also Busata for the very nice cooperation last year and the still interesting cooperation this year going forwards. And also with Knife Ninja, which I have a lot of talks about, and we share a lot of music in DMs,
Oh,
and in general also the admin team. So it's fun working together with all of you. Yeah, every time we introduce something new in the admin portion of the Discord, there is also always very enthusiastic discussion about it. Yeah, it's really nice working together with you guys on this.
cool. You've
And you,
taken.
Joe, you
Thank
want
you.
to do some shout outs?
Yeah, yeah. You guys have. Well, first of all, thank you both of you for joining me on the podcast on numerous occasions. You've also both taken some of the people that I was going to shout out to as well. Um, and so I have a few others then. I think, first of all, to some of the new guys, welcome, like Pookie and NBate66. Um, One of the people that's really brightened my day regularly is Adrian Todd Ross, who has been on the Dirty Discord and GRF. To me, he's like the Ted Lasso of Rally because he's just so enthusiastic, and I find that that kind of brightens my day. Shout out to Weepy, who seems to come out of semi-retirement recently as well. It's good to have him back.
Well, I
Um,
think he's in a winter sleep in Sweden right now.
yeah, well, he's back now, and he's killing it. David or Davy Racer, who um, has been kind of egging on Weepy and they have this little challenge going in, beat my time. They're like the only two with maybe with Toolmaker thrown in sometimes who are really using that channel a lot. It was great to see that happening. Shout out also to Typecast Wookie. I hope he comes back soon. He's just enjoying the winter weather in California, which is still very warm, but um, is more bearable than the summer weather. So he's spending a lot of time outdoors, which is good for him, and I'm sure he'll be back at some point. Ed Rosa as well for always giving a little write up to his daily events. There are lots of people, but I think I'll leave it at that for now. So, yeah, JRC teams as well.
Yeah, sorry, I want a final shout out to Samsagax as well. Did not want to forget him because it was on top of my list as well. Because I think he's a really valued member of this community as well. I
Yep,
really like him a lot.
agreed, agreed.
Oh, can I also give out the final shout out?
Yeah, of course.
Final shout out goes to the small but good WRC generations community within GRF. Gobali, Fup, and all the other guys.
Fantastic.
All right, awesome.
Okay, good. Well, here's to a happy 2023 to you all, and I'm sure we will be seeing more of each other on the Discord and the leaderboards. I'll say
For sure.
good.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
You're
Yeah.
welcome,
Thanks, Joe.
guys.
Thanks, Shinyo.
Okay,
Yeah,
goodbye,
thank you,
guys.
Dennis. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.